think this is too much. He saw this as an obstacle and not as his job, which is wrong. Maybe he liked the flowers. It's a nice artifact here. Are the next flowers also worth keeping? We will see. No, we will munch through them, leaving behind a path of destruction. Okay, this is the Luba after, I'd say, 2 or 3 weeks without cleaning. It's rain-washed a bit, but this morning it stopped working. Not because the Roboter is gekippt, but because of the wheel stuck. Yeah, this is a lot of grass remains and they need to be carefully taken. And I mean carefully because not once I cut my fingers with those really sharp razor blades here whilst cleaning the deck. Maybe not so recommended with something like this here. Remove the grass, the compressed grass. Yeah, it's a bit of a mess, so don't expect to set this up and let it run for 2 months. You need to at least, I'd say, once a week or every other week, you need to clean the deck. I wouldn't use a pressure washer. Quite clean and ready to go for the next round. So you either decide you have a fence of grass, of like high tall grass, which doesn't look too bad in my opinion, or you have to manually mow the borders, because if your map is too far on the borders where the problematic areas are, where it can get stuck, then it will get stuck. Then you need to come here and retrieve it and help it. If it's stuck, you cannot steer it, like back up and drive right and save it. I think for security reasons, you can only have a Bluetooth connection and remote control it with Bluetooth, because this has limited range. If I could remote control it from the other side of the world, it could also be misused as a remote operated bomb or something, I don't know. So remote control to help it out of problematic areas doesn't work. But if it gets stuck, you can cancel the active mowing and then just tell it to go home, and in some occasions it will work then and it will go home. And then you can just restart the mowing session, maybe restart it at the percentage that it stopped, so you don't have to mow it twice. But there were not too many occasions where it really got stuck, because I adapted the map in regions where I knew it would have problems. So now the map is a bit more conservative. So this down here is my most unliked lawn, because it's quite uneven. So if you ride here with the Husqvarna rider, it is a bumpy up and down ride, because this is not a flat surface. And I'm really happy that it mows this area for me very reliably. Here it got stuck once, so I reduced this a bit. This could be a bit of a beauty issue for you. For me, this is not a problem, these little chunks of grass. You could just mow it more often or crisscross mow it. I mow this 1.5 times a week, if you know what I mean. But yeah, and you see, these regions where I don't mow get really tall, and I would just mow it down once or twice a year with and yeah, this is the end of the region. So here you see it's a bit taller. This will be mowed today. This region up here is no problem. Here under the trees I could reduce the no-go zones a bit more around the tree. So this is already also covered. And also here under this big tree, I'm conservative. I could go in further there. Branches dangling down to the ground, so this could be a problem. And then correct the map here. And here he mowed already this morning, but then the knives got stuck or were just too dirty with grass. And now he just continues his 5 minutes of border patrol. I think it looks kind of nice, and I will leave it this way until it really gets ugly, and then I cut it down with the electric grass cutter. So far I'm really excited that it mostly works without me needing to do anything. Only if it's rainy and if you need to plan ahead for the mower. So you can set up a schedule, and if it rains it will return to its docking station after 5 minutes or so. But then you need to set up a second schedule. Yeah, so really Can't give enough thumbs up to the Luba. On my lawn the zero turn doesn't work that good, so I always use this return mode where it goes back and forth and turns, which is a bit slower but it's more reliable. Yeah, also the app, if you come back to the app, the status will often not be updated. You have to close the app on the phone and restart it, and then it updates. Other than this, it gets a lot of updates with improvements for navigation and stuff. About the web RTK, the internet-based navigation, in addition to the GPS, it works really reliable and good. Not once has this gone wrong and far outside of its bounds because it doesn't know where it is. It really works good. So up here on this larger space, those lanes are very accurate, like very straight. This gives this a very organized or tidy look, and it takes around 2 to 3 hours. It looks so tidy. Also the driveway. This was yesterday, so there the stripes are a bit faded, but overall, considering the difficult terrain with ups and downs between the trees and the shed. So this is what I'm dealing with now. I need to go over these rough edges manually with a husky, and then I try to extend the map to regions that are now completely mown down, and by that I will risk some areas where he might get stuck. So it's always a trade-off between maximum work area and possibility for getting stuck. Like here we can for sure increase the work area towards the wall, because every square meter that you conquer with him, you don't have to take care of anymore. Okay, I just got the note that the robot duck here on this tight section. Let's see if we can get him unstuck. The status is 51% is done. Cancel the task and send him back to the charging station. For some reason I don't see the FPV feed now, but on the map I see it's moving. So yeah, I see him on my webcam as well. So we can cancel the return. The task from today again. It's a bit tedious. You have to edit settings, the progress to maybe 52 to skip the problematic section, and save it. Now he continues here. That's fun. So that's a little tip on how to get it unstuck from remote. Yeah, and there's plenty of stuff to be mown down. Okay, right after I showed you that you can use just the app to get him going again, he is stuck here at this slope. Can we see the slope from there? It's not too drastic. Oh, now I see the problem. So there was once again a molehill, so I will reduce the borders here a bit to avoid this trap. I should show this as well, since this causes a few confusions. Once you tilt the robot and he complains, he will go into emergency mode, and to get it going again, start and mow at the same time, or start and home for docking station at the same time. Like for a short press, and then he will return to the dock. Here the little docking station and the roof. The roof is definitely, I don't want to say it's worth its money, but it's worth it. It sits there kind of protected, you see now, from sun or also from rain. Being protected from rain means also if a mowing session is scheduled and it rains, it will not notice that it rains, will start, get wet. The sensor will sense the rain and then it will return to the docking station after a few minutes. So yeah, if you know it rains, you can skip or disable the schedule ahead of time. Permanently a little bit dirty, but not too much. I checked it today, it's not a disaster in terms of the mowdeck, so I just removed a little bit of grass. Now in summer, if it's very hot and dry grass, I will reduce the mowing times, of course, and also if the grass is not wet but dry, it will not get stuck in the mowdeck too much. Yeah, and since it's hot, I'm really thankful for this little helper, because this means I don't have to take care of the lawn now. Have it taken care of, like 70% of the area is perfect, and the surroundings will get higher and higher. Each second month I will go drastic over the edges and cut the remaining grass, yeah, which seems to be quite efficient. So after this, let's count April, May and almost June. After these 3 months of usage, I have this much of mow time. Like I think it was 150 plus hours. Quite a lot of experience with the mower now. There are different versions. Sometimes they have the same battery size. Really, they just have more mowing zones to be enabled, and that's totally just a licensing issue. Really take a close look at the battery sizes between the models you choose and see if you really need the biggest model. If you're in the US, you can have the Luba 210,000, and there's also a high grass version. This one really has a bigger battery and you can mow quite a large area with one battery. For me, it seems in this a little bit up and down and slopey style, I can get 500 square meters on one charge. It's not the full charge, it's from 20 to 100%. It will take a bit over 1 hour, 1 hour 30 maybe. 1,000 square meters per day are realistic. Consider if you start too early in the morning, you will have very wet grass, which you don't want to have, and you don't want to mow all the way into the night, although you could. It has a light, it has a floodlight. I would just end mowing when the sun is setting. Okay, so the app has still a few rough edges, like the status bug is a bit annoying. Other than this, the functionality is quite nice. I can still very much recommend this product. Maybe also take a look at the smaller Luba Mini, if that is maybe sufficient for your lawn. Thanks a lot for watching. You might also want to check out the initial review of this, of course. And for nostalgia, you can check out my Husky review also on this property. Okay, thanks a lot for watching. See you next time. Bye for now.